This is a new comment we want to play so people understand just what's going on in this intersection of law and politics. It has been illegal for a long time for states to try to ban people from different races from getting married. You have the right to marry whoever you want, regardless of race, in America. And yet, when it comes to interracial marriage, this is new today, in an interview from Republican Senator Mike Braun this week.
So you would be okay with the Supreme Court leaving the question of interracial marriage to the states?
Yes. If you're not wanting the Supreme Court to weigh in on issues like that, you're not going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. I think that's hypocritical. We're better off having states manifest their points of view rather than homogenizing it across the country as Roe versus Wade did.
That is a very outlandish claim. He's also referring to the idea that the states would then have the power to ban marriage between people of different races. The story really blew up today. That was recorded yesterday. Then he later said today, quote, that he misunderstood the question and says, quote, "There's no question the Constitution prohibits discrimination of any kind based on race. That's not even up for debate. And I condemn racism in any form at all levels and by any states, entities, or individuals," end quote. I want to make sure people have the whole story. The original response is striking. His words are there, so people have the context that he is clearly saying afterward that he's against racial discrimination and that he's not standing by what you just saw on your screen. Ellie, your response.
This is a classic Republican two-step where they say they're against racial discrimination, but they also say that they are in favor of the very kind of legal thought processes that led to the discrimination in the first place. So what Braun is talking about is a case called Loving v. Virginia. That's the case that allows for interracial marriages to happen in this country. And that was decided on substantive due process grounds, that people have a substantive right to marry. And because, as Marshall Blackburn has been saying, you have to have where's the right to marry? The right to marry is not in the Constitution. We have inferred that the Constitution must include a right to marry under the right to privacy, which is a function of substantive due process, which Republicans don't like. So they sit there and they try to come out substantive due process, the right, which goes into the right to contraception and all this kind of stuff. They say they're only concerned with Roe v. Wade, but occasionally the mask slips. And it shows that if you take away substantive due process, if you take away privacy rights, there's an entire legal canon that is built on privacy rights that includes the right to marry, that includes the right to contraception, and yes, includes the right to an abortion before fetal viability, that crumble away in their zeal. Just to put the last point on this, leaving something like interracial marriage to the states, Alabama even though interracial marriage had been long allowed by the federal courts, Alabama still had a vestigial statute banning the miscegenation of the races, as they called it in Alabama. That did not come off the books until it was put to a popular vote in the year 2000. That's how recent it was. And that's how close we could be again to those kinds of laws if people like Mike Braun, John Cornyn, and Lindsey Graham get their way.
It's really striking. And as you say, the history is instructive. And if you hear people saying, well, I'm not for X, in this case, banning people from being able to marry regardless of race, but I'm for allowing a state to do X. You don't have to go to law school to question, well, gosh, why is that so important? Why is allowing a state to do this thing, in this case, rank racist law that's been completely thrown out, why is that more important than the other rights? In this case, and again, I want to be as comprehensive as possible. People will make up their own minds. He has now said what he said, and retracting it, I showed that quote as well, but it was striking. Ellie, on a lighter note, I promised people that you would be the embodiment of an espresso, and I don't feel that you disappointed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Let's always keep John C. Calhoun and his states' rights theories in the past.